Hey yo, welcome to our channel today. I am currently 56 years old and living alone in an old studio room. My husband has been passed away from cancer 7 years ago, and my only daughter, whom I raised with great care, passed away in an accident 3 years ago. My daughter was a big fan of outdoor activities, and that winter, she went on a snowboarding training camp with her college friends to Denver. When they arrived at the location, my daughter sent me many photos of her having a great time and playing around with her 3 friends. Be careful on your way back as well. I sent a message to my daughter like that. In response, my daughter replied, "Sure, I'll be careful." However, those were the last words exchanged between my daughter and me. On the way back from the training camp, the car driven by my daughter's friend slipped on a winding, narrow road, and everyone on board tragically lost their lives. I still vividly remember the moment when I received a call from the police, informing me about the confirmation of the bodies. I prayed that it wouldn't be my daughter, hoping that it was just a resemblance to someone else. Trembling, I removed the white cloth covering the face of a particular body. A chilling sensation ran through my body in an instant. Catherine, no, this can't be true. There's no way she could be dead because Catherine, my precious daughter Catherine. The body lying before me was my dear daughter Catherine. I had not only lost my husband, but also my beloved daughter like this. After my daughter's death, I attempted to take my own life multiple times. I decided to leave the company where I had worked for a long time and took the time to sort out my personal matters. However, when it came time to actually take my own life, I suddenly became terrified of dying and couldn't go through with it. No matter how deeply worn my heart was, ironically, my stomach would still growl with hunger, and the desire to eat something never left my mind. Whenever I put something into my stomach, even just a little, it helped to calm my agitated emotions. Eventually, with no sense of purpose or hope in my life, I made the decision to work solely to satisfy my hunger. The job that I chose was to work as a janitor in a building. It was a perfect job for me as I had always enjoyed thorough cleaning. As I cleared the fog from the windows, my own emotions also brightened to some extent. By keeping myself busy and constantly moving, I was able to temporarily distract myself from the sorrow of losing my daughter. The income was never substantial, but for someone like me who was living alone, it was more than enough. I sold the house and got rid of most of my household belongings. Then I relocated to a small and old apartment, embracing a simple and frugal lifestyle without any extravagance. 2 years had passed since I began living such a modest and humble life when something happened one day in the building where I was responsible for cleaning. I had a shocking encounter. As usual, I was cleaning the restrooms, floor by floor, starting from the upper levels. On the 5th floor, in the women's restroom, I found a beautiful earring. It was an earring with slightly yellowish conch pearls and small navy ribbons attached to them. Leaving them up behind, I stepped out of the restroom and looked around the area, hoping to find someone searching for the earrings. At that moment, I spotted a young woman wearing a gray suit diligently searching the hallway with her focused gaze. Could it be her earrings? That thought crossed my mind, and cautiously I approached her and spoke up. "Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but are you searching for an earring?" When the woman raised her face in response to my voice, I couldn't help but gasp in surprise. It was because she looked exactly like my late daughter, Catherine. If I had to point out a difference, my daughter had double eyelids, while this woman had single eyelids, but their overall facial features, such as the round contour and shape of the mouth, were strikingly similar. I couldn't help but gaze at her intently. The woman then said something like this: "Yes, it's an earring with white pearls and navy ribbons attached. Have you happened to see them anywhere?" Advised to her paralyzed and unable to respond due to the shock, she gazed back at me with a look of curiosity in her eyes. Then I suddenly snapped back to reality and showed the woman the earring I found in the restroom. "This is it. I'm so relieved. I had just bought them last week, and I was devastated when I dropped them." As I handed the earring to the woman, she bowed gratefully and happily walked back to her office. A few days later, I had another opportunity to talk to her. In the early morning, when employees had not arrived yet, As I was cleaning the office, a woman approached me cheerfully and said, "Good morning." Thinking she might be one of my cleaning colleagues, I replied, "Good morning," and raised my head. To my surprise, standing there was a woman who looked exactly like my daughter. "Thank you for the other day," she said. After saying that, she bowed deeply and placed her bag on the neatly organized desk. "You're here quite early," I said. As I said that, she held a sandwich from the convenience store in her hand and powered on the computer. "I brought some work home yesterday that I have to finish by today, but I ended up falling asleep in the middle of it. So I decided to come in early today and continue where I left off yesterday." Since then, we gradually started having more conversations and getting to know each other better whenever we crossed paths at work. Her name is Carrie. She is in her 3rd year of working and is employed at an event planning company. She enjoys making sweets, going out to eat delicious desserts on her days off. She sometimes brings homemade sweets to the workplace, and we would enjoy eating them together in the janitor's break room. Carrie has a different personality compared to my daughter. Even though their faces are strikingly similar, my daughter was more straightforward and had many tomboyish traits. However, Carrie gives a typical impression of a girl loving floral patterns and cute things. She also had a somewhat sensitive side and would be bothered by even small mistakes. However, talking to her made me feel incredibly happy, as if I had my daughter right in front of me. Carrie lost her mother to an illness a few years ago, and she refers to me by the name Emily as a mother. Emily, being called mother after a long time, made me extremely happy, and going to work gradually became more enjoyable. Eating the sweets that Carrie made at home made me appreciate being alive. One day, while having our usual routine of eating sweets and chatting together, Carrie appeared in the janitor's break room with swollen red eyes. "What's the matter? Your eyes are all red. It's spoiling your lovely face." I grabbed some ice from the freezer and advised her to wrap it in a damp towel and place it on her eyelids. As Carrie tearfully took the towel and cooled her eyelids, she said this: "I have been dating my boyfriend since college, and he suddenly came to me yesterday to break up with me." I gently asked her something while comforting her with a back rub. What was the reason? She took a deep breath to calm herself and started sharing what happened that night. "We went out to have Italian food together yesterday. We talked about the new project I will be responsible for. Maybe it started from there." His expression became clouded, and suddenly he said he wanted to break up. When I asked for the reason, he insisted that he didn't think Kai could be happy with him. I placed my hand on Carrie's shoulder and said, "It's not clear why he suddenly said that. I wonder why he brought it up out of the blue, especially when everything seemed normal, until you discussed the new project." Then she nodded silently. "I have been hoping that I could just marry him. That's why this is so overwhelming. I can't help but wonder what I did wrong." Upon saying that, Carrie took out homemade cookies from her bag and started eating them with a crispy sound. In this situation, I'll just let loose and enjoy myself eating and drinking to forget about it. I was deeply concerned about Carrie being so desperate. When my high school daughter was dumped by her boyfriend, she went through a tough time and was deeply upset. Even though she was still in high school, she would say things like, "I can never get married," and lock herself in her room, refusing to eat and crying all the time. It seems that Carrie has the tendency to overeat rather than lose her appetite, so I'm worried that she might end up getting drunk after work and causing trouble for others. Feeling that way and seeing her eating cookies one right after another, I said to Carrie, "Hey, let's try to talk to him and get a clear reason for the breakup. There must be something going on that led to his decision. You can't just let it go like this, can you? You should really dig deep and get to the bottom of the reason. Take a moment to calm down and reach out to him once more." Then Carrie set aside the snacks and focused her gaze on her smartphone. "Yes, you're right. Yesterday, I was in shock when he said he wanted to break up, and I couldn't think straight. But first, I need to find a way to ask him about the reason." The next day, during lunch break, Carrie appeared in the break room again with red eyes. Thinking that she must have been confronted with a truly irreparable reason, I extended my arms to hug Carrie. However, at that moment, something shiny caught my attention. Upon closer look, I noticed that Carrie was wearing a diamond ring on her left ring finger. Carrie, this is. I took Carrie's left hand and gazed at the sparkling ring. Then she gave me a smile with swollen eyes and hugged me tightly. I am getting married. Surprised by the sudden turn of events, Carrie told me about what happened last night. He told me he had ordered the engagement ring several months ago. Just after the ring was completed, he received a job transfer. Thinking it was the right moment to propose, he asked me out for a meal. That was the day before yesterday. But you see, I got carried away talking about how excited I was to be involved in a new project. Watching me like that, he lost his confidence and couldn't say, "Quit your job and come with me." For men who have jobs involving transference, it might be a common concern when it comes to getting married. Moreover, especially in recent years when dual-income households have become common, there may be men who give up on marriage if their partner finds fulfillment in her current job. But I told him, even though I love my current job, there's nothing I value more than being with you. That's why I want to go with you and marry you. And then he gave me this ring. Carrie blushed and smiled shyly, appearing remarkably beautiful like I had never seen before. Despite the swollen eyes from tears of joy, Carrie had an exceptionally beautiful face. I took Carrie's hands and repeatedly said, "That's wonderful." 2 months later, Carrie resigned from her workplace and headed towards the place where he had already been transferred. Since her departure, my life reverted to the lonely one it had been several years ago. Sometimes I sit and chat with my cleaning companions over a cup of tea, but a profound sense of emptiness remains in my heart, as if my own daughter has left me. One day, I received a letter from an employee of the company where Carrie had worked. It was from Carrie. Her letter was filled with updates on her current situation. Surprisingly, it seems that she is expecting a baby, as mentioned in the letter. And at the end of the letter, she noted her phone number and email address. After finishing work, I immediately called the number, and Carrie answered with a joyful and bright voice full of happiness. Over the phone, she said, "When the baby is born, I'll definitely come and show you, Mother Emily." Since then, we began to communicate with each other frequently. Once the baby was safely born, Carrie started sending me pictures of the baby almost every day. Occasionally, when we connected through video calls, I had the chance to see the baby crying with energy or displaying an adorable smile that brings a sense of happiness to everyone who sees it. Because of that, I can cherish the beauty of living and spend each day filled with happiness. For me, right now, being able to see Carrie's happy smile and the adorable sight of the baby has become a significant purpose in my life. The connection with Carrie and the new life she brought into the world has provided a renewed sense of meaning and joy. As I continue my work as a janitor, I find solace in these moments of connection and the shared experiences with Carrie. The building, once a place of solitude and routine, has transformed into a space where unexpected connections and sources of happiness can emerge. Life, despite its hardships and losses, has shown me that there can be unexpected moments of light and joy, even in the most ordinary places. I look forward to the day when Carrie visits with her baby, bringing the warmth of family back into my life. Until then, I embrace each day, finding purpose and happiness in the simple joys of connection and the shared journey of life. Thank you, dear listeners, for joining us on this heartful journey. We hope that our story resonated with you, touching the depths of human emotions and the complexities of family bonds. If you found this narrative moving or thought-provoking, we invite you to express your appreciation by hitting the like button, sharing it with others who might benefit from its message, and subscribing to our channel for more engaging content. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to bringing you more stories that inspire, connect, and remind us of the importance of love and understanding in our lives. Thank you for being a part of our community, and until next time, take care.